Authenticity also lays the groundwork for trust, respect, and unconditional love and acceptance within relationships. And this self-acceptance, this wholeness actually frees you from some of the unhealthy patterns that we may have been exhibiting, such as people pleasing or perfectionism or wearing masks. And instead, it opens the door to genuine connections and unconditional love. So, of course, there are varying degrees of authenticity. And sometimes it's not even so much that we're being, inauthentic or disingenuous. It's just that we maybe aren't stepping completely into our authenticity. We may even be hiding from ourselves. And when we're not being authentic, there's a cost. The very love and acceptance that you're seeking remain elusive. Not only does it sometimes completely prevent you from receiving the love and acceptance that you crave the most, sometimes it even leads to relationships wherein others take advantage of you. And I'm sure Debbie is going to be chatting a little bit more about that. So now, besides the strain and pressure of not expressing yourself inside of relationships with others, living inauthentically actually creates internal conflict too, right? Which can manifest as anxiety and depression over time. Now, this incongruence between who you truly are in your most full, whole, truest expression and likely the version that you're trying to present to other people, this incongruence creates this sense of stuckness. And this internal tension that you're feeling within yourself, though actually quite uncomfortable at times, is actually a gift. This stuck feeling that you're experiencing is truly a call to look within, like we talked about in the billboard section, a call to look within to the one and only person that you can actually change. And when you hear that call, it's time to answer the call. It's time to make that change. It's a call to return to your intended state of being. So by being authentic, you invite others to understand and connect with your true self, leading to richer, more meaningful relationships. And then you actually have the opportunity to feel truly seen and heard and loved and accepted, as we all truly desire. Authentic living naturally boosts your self-esteem and your overall well-being. It helps you to live in integrity with your values, right? Removing, those expectations that you have from others to fulfill your needs and replacing it with a clear confidence of who you are and what it is that you need. And not only that, but also a clear plan of how you can get those needs met. And only when you present your authentic self can you actually experience the true acceptance, receive that unconditional love from another. If you're not putting it out there, there is always going to be this nagging feeling in your mind that says, if they only knew this part of me. So putting your true, whole, authentic self out there is the way to find your people and create this experience of unconditional love and acceptance. So today, I invite you to take immediate action to start cultivating more authenticity in your life. And I'm going to invite you into a quick journaling prompt that you can just note down for later. This is just some compassionate self-inquiry, because engaging in self-discovery can really help you to better understand yourself, your desires, your feelings, your experiences. And I invite you to start today by just getting curious about who you really are and what it is you really want out of your life. Because the better you know yourself, the more clarity you will have as when it comes to creating the life of your dreams. And I will throw in here too, my Unstuck for Women daily self-discovery journey is a great tool for this journey of really getting to know yourself. But you can get started today with this one simple journaling prompt and a pen and paper. And that is, you can write this one down. What part of your day felt the most you today? What part of your day felt the most you today? And reflect and plan to integrate more of whatever these you moments were into your daily routine. Now, of course, we're all on an individual personal journey, right? But we are not meant to go it alone. So cultivating relationships and environments that can support and celebrate your authentic self can be a huge game changer. We don't all have people in our lives that allow us to be our full and authentic self, right? There are sometimes some safety concerns. And I don't mean physical safety, although that could be a factor. I mean emotional safety. And so finding environments where you can, have a community around you that allows you to be you can really help you to express your true self and It actually can act as a bit of a buffer against those societal pressures or pressures from other people. Really, also spending time with people who create this environment help you to see things from new perspectives, right? They can help you to have mindset shifts and see new experiences and opportunities, allowing you to evolve and expand with more grace and ease. So I encourage you to take some small steps towards authenticity every single day, whether this be expressing, whatever is actually on your mind. Of course, we want to do this with love and kindness. Establishing and upholding healthy boundaries. These are actually an invitation into deeper connection with you. They're not meant to wall people off. They're meant to invite those who are meant to be with you into a deeper connection. And of course, honoring your feelings, allowing them to flow and be without judgment or guilt or shame, like I think Rebecca mentioned. So the journey to authenticity is honestly, it's not about as much as becoming someone else, because you are already that. It's more about remembering your wholeness, and it's about unlearning who you were told to be. And that is why I say often just about the bravest thing that you can do is be yourself. So before I wrap up completely, I wanted to share just a couple of additional tools that are guaranteed not only to inspire you into more authenticity, but to actually actively support your journey towards this deeper connection and personal fulfillment, both within and without. So a couple of the resources I wanted to share. Number one is my podcast, Create Your Happy. And this is ongoing inspiration and practical advice for conscious humans. So if you're interested in exploring themes of personal growth, happiness, authenticity, and building meaningful, loving relationships, check that out. And I also have a free masterclass and ebook called The People Pleaser's Path to Freedom. This resource is a free resource designed to help you really step into that authenticity and joy and free yourself from some of these unhelpful patterns. And then I have two amazing courses that will help you to go from any of that stuck feeling to truly loving your life. Number one, the course is called Love Reimagined. And this is about empowering women to enhance their relationships, but it's ultimately coming back to you. So this is a process of self-discovery, mastering communication, and deepening emotional intimacy with self to, relook at love, reimagine love from a new perspective. And my other program is called Authenticity Unleashed. This one is literally all about liberating yourself from people pleasing. It is about creating and upholding those healthy boundaries. And truly, it's about embracing a life that is lived authentically on your terms. So whether you're just starting out, exploring your authentic being, or you're ready to transform your entire experience from the inside out, I have something here to help you. You can visit my website, coachchristyholt.com, to access any of these tools and start your transformation today. And one final loving reminder, and that is just to give yourself the permission slip that you need to create a life that you truly love, because you deserve that. And every step that you take towards authenticity not only enriches your life, but also the lives of the people around you. I would be thrilled to support you on whatever this adventure looks like for you. Your greatness awaits.
Wow, wow. Just drop the mic, Christy. You give yourself the permission to create the life that you love. You've mentioned that you've shared that, or you shared on authenticity. I always struggle with this word. And you've shared on how this is the key to unconditional love and acceptance. And I just love the way you've mentioned that, the most important relationship you should have out there is a relationship with yourself, because you just need that. Love yourself, create that happiness for yourself, because no one else will do that if you don't do it for yourself. And you've also shared on how to actually create that healthy, loving relationships from the inside out. Wow, wow, what a profound message. You know what? I'm going to go back and watch the replay. Thank you so much, Christy, for sharing such a much needed message around our authenticity, as we are all destined for greatness. Thank you. So from Alberta, we are flying all the way to the state of Georgia, where we have Rebecca B. Brombeck. Rebecca B. Brombeck, MBA. She's a somatic healing coach, consultant, as well as an entrepreneur. She helps professionals and entrepreneurs to transform from running on fumes in survival mode to thriving in alignment with calm confidence. So Rebecca is the founder of Finishing School, which is a supportive community of high-performing professionals learning to heal and rewire their unconscious minds so that they can feel amazing and live on purpose. Yes, we need to live on purpose. She's also the founder of Soul Clarity, where she has provided mindfulness integrated programs for community nonprofits and community-minded for-profits. Rebecca is trained in mindfulness-based somatic healing and has had a steady mindfulness practice for over 20 years. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Rebecca Brombeck.
Thank you so much. I love hearing my bio. I can't help but be authentic, and I really appreciated your talk, Christy. And where I want to start is that the obstacle is the path. It's a beautiful Zen expression. And change is at once catalytic and over time, right? So my meditation teacher shared this beautiful analogy of a boulder, right? And if the boulder represents the changes that we need to make, and if you could just find one little crack, one little tiny thing that you can change, you just put a little tiny wooden wedge in it, and then you just put a little drop of water, and then another drop of water, and then another and another. And it may take a while, but over time that boulder cracks. And so our greatness is unlocked both rapidly and with steady commitment, right? It is not a linear process. I'm a fan of dreaming big and making those dreams real, right? That's why I love doing integrated healing and business coaching. Business is just the next natural step, and I've been using my MBA to help people scale their dreams. And what we first need to do is overcome the blocks to our greatness. I want to invite you, as you're listening, to just answer this question internally. What is your biggest dream right now that you have yet to reach? And I hope you have one, right? Even if you're living the life of your dreams, just like nature, we are ever expanding. It is our nature to constantly be opening and expanding in this dynamic, gorgeous process, right? We can grow as great as our dreams, and those dreams can keep expanding with us along with them. I've experienced this trajectory myself, and I have helped over 100 women break through their own limitations and barriers to blast through to their dream outcomes. And then they keep going. That's the fun part. But first, before we can get into that phase of expansion where that boulder cracks and we go do the thing, right? We first need to overcome our old conditioning. I very much use the same term, unlearning or deconditioning, right? That's kept us safe. We need to celebrate what has brought us to this point. Like, thank you so much, procrastination. Thank you so much, fear. Thank you so much, mediocrity. Like all the things in that trailer that you showed, Real. Thank you for all of those things, because I was safe doing those things, but that works until it doesn't work. You know, that beautiful expression from Anais Nin of the pain exceeding, staying in the bud, exceeding the pain of opening, right? At some point, it just hurts to stay small. And that's where my work comes in. So we may want success. We may want to achieve our dreams, but unintentionally, we work against it like big time, right? How many of you have, waited on something, have sat on sending an important email for 6 months? Like, oops, I've done it. Why do we do this, right? Because the unconscious, this is why we do this. The unconscious doesn't know what year it is. The unconscious doesn't know what year it is. And that means that anything that is in the past feels present until it is healed. And this is my specialty, is working with the body. The body is the gateway to the unconscious, where 90% of our thinking happens. The body is where our conditioning lives. And so if you're listening to this and you do one thing that you feel inspired to do from this whole thing, develop a body awareness practice, because the body holds the locks and the keys to change. And I've seen it happen over and over. And you can see how excited I get about this process. Like, I love witnessing this unlocking, this boulder cracking, right? So the body is our gateway to understanding and healing the unconscious. We make decisions as little ones between the ages of 0 and 7 about how the world works. Like, were we working with a good decision set at ages of 0 and 7, where we think the whole world is about us? So if a need wasn't met, it must have meant that something's wrong with us. And then we bury that limiting belief in shame and unhealed pain, right? The present moment is a time machine, and we can unblock and heal this. I talk about it as like delivering the memo, right? Like we have new information that we're delivering our young parts in the present moment. I always like to say that if you had a childhood, you probably need to do some healing, right? Everybody had a childhood, right? So we form a faulty decision set that merits revisiting. That's why there's such a thing as the midlife crisis, right? It's either forced upon us through relationship, cataclysmic stuff, like it looks like all three of us have been through, or it just comes over us, like we just need change. So, healing takes love and compassion, and it's not an amorphous process, right? It is not, it has phases and stages, and there's a point where you've got to stop talking about it and you've got to feel it, and you've got to be being about it in the body. And that's where my work comes in. I have something called the 90-10 rule. So we spend 90% of our journey talking about it. And then when we feel stuck and we're watching ourselves do the things, we're watching ourselves procrastinate, we're watching ourselves, have imposter syndrome and suffer and have no fun doing the work that we actually love to do. We, push away the good things in our lives. We doubt ourselves. It's painful, right? We don't accept praise. Like, why? Why would we not do that? Except that has kept us safe, right? And so, all of these things have kept us safe in different ways. And there are 6 core blocks that I have defined in my signature somatic healing curriculum inside of finishing school. But what I wanted to say is, before I go here, like Christy said too, it isn't an unending process. There is life beyond healing. A couple of years ago, I actually created a brand called Life Beyond Healing because I wanted to know what the heck that was. And it's like, you don't need to meditate all of the time. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to constantly be rewiring your limiting beliefs. And you can keep rewiring because we are constantly expanding. And so we're constantly called to become new versions of ourselves, right? So there are 6 core blocks that I've outlined in my signature somatic healing curriculum, and they are a block to clarity. So maybe your nervous system is too noisy to really understand even what you want or need, right? You're anxious, you're shut down. So we need to feel safe in the body, in the nervous system, because again, this is where 90% of our thinking is happening. And if you don't have access to your smartest brain, you're not going to feel clear. There's an action block. You might take sloppy action to override any criticism before it happens, or you might procrastinate like most of us do. There is a receiving block. So even if you do take action, you can't feel the good feeling. You don't get that dopamine hit. You don't feel the benefit of a relationship because there's so much grief and disappointment under the surface that needs healing. And all we have to do is heal it. Relational block is I do myself. I do it all myself. I meet all my needs myself. Don't help, right? And how far is that going to get us? We can get ourselves as far as we can. And I was humbled to heal through this. Like, let me be really clear. I am the 7-layer dip. I've healed from all of these blocks. And the relational block was the most humbling because I had to ask for help, because wounds made in connection can't be healed in isolation. Self-healing only gets you so far. Another block is finishing, right? You might get really excited about starting the business, starting the website, starting to post on Instagram. And then all of a sudden, all the air leaks out of the balloon, slowly or rapidly. This like deflating feeling happens. And so being successful may not feel safe. You might have, especially as women, we learn that we have to trade love and success. And that is a deep piece of work. I helped a client do that yesterday, and it is a profound transformation that happens when you feel the heart and the power center reconnect together. It's potent. And the final one is resting. Who is allergic to taking a nap? Who is allergic to slowing down? If this is you, please institute a 10-minute doing nothing practice. and notice your resistance. What is your conditioning telling you about why you can't do the thing? Not resting keeps us from greatness because we miss out on rest, we missed out on integration, we miss out on creativity, we miss out on that winter of ourselves where we regenerate and re-nourish ourselves. So we need to rest. It's a very yin thing, but it's no less important. So I'm noticing the time, so I'm just gonna start to wrap, but I wanna just explain some surprising signs that you may have that you're about to level up. First of all, your patterns get louder, okay? So if you are procrastinating, you are painfully aware of how much pain it's causing in your life. If you're reactive, if you're pushing things away, you're noticing that those patterns are getting much bigger and it causes more discomfort, right? So it's sort of like the extinction bark, which is actually a dog training term that I've recoined with healing because every time you, let's say, like I have a dog, and let's say that I give her a cookie every time she barks. Bart, get a cookie. Bart, get a cookie. If I stop giving her cookies, will she stop barking? No, right? She'll start barking louder. She'll bark more and more and more. So that pattern is getting louder. When we stop, but the reward that it's been getting of staying safe and small is no longer enough. And so the pattern finally extinguishes, but only after getting louder. So if your patterns are causing you even more discomfort, just understand that you're right on time and that the frustration that you feel, you can transmute towards whatever's next. So trust that part of your process. So how do we heal? How do we, expand our capacity to become our most successful selves? We do this by building ourselves out with our nervous system. We heal our nervous system. We reparent. We deliver that memo to those young parts of ourselves. I call it reparenting, but it's a very body deep process. We speak to the decisions that we made at those young times in our lives, and we say it's not like that anymore. And so we decide the belief system that we want. We look at our goals, we ask for the beliefs that go with those goals, and then we heal whatever is in the way of believing those things, right? So this is my signature Embody You method that I teach of repairing the nervous system, reparenting young child parts, and not just the inner child, but all the many, many, many different inner child parts and memories and unmet needs that all need healing with specificity and rigor. Healing is not like a sloppy process. We can actually be quite logical about it. And that's, I think, my gift of the business and the healing side is that I'm able to do that. As we shift our sense of who we are by seeing ourselves anew, we need help of a loving and non-judgmental community. I tease that I've created the safest place on the internet to do that. I'm really passionate about the healing power of the group. It's really, really potent. So I want to say, if you see yourself in any of these blocks, please know that we can't do this healing work alone. As I said before, wounds made in connection can't be healed in isolation. Please also know that so much can be healed, and I've seen it literally over 100 times over at this point. Also, the only silver bullet is your own loving commitment to this work for the long haul. So it's catalytic and it's drop by drop by drop by drop. And the benefits of this work, however uncomfortable it can be, it does get uncomfortable. I'm going to be real with you. The benefits are still too innumerable to count, and they include regained access to a sense of ease, a calm body, a joyful way of being. And that's your natural state. Wholeness, ease, and joy is our natural way of being, right? And all we're doing is removing what's in the way of that. I'm trying to hold, trust and faith in your wholeness. That's literally what I'm trained to do, is say, I know you're good. I know you're good. Let's just see why you don't think you are. So if any of this feels like Rebecca's my girl, I'd like to work with her. Or if you just want to learn a little bit more about the body mind healing process, on my website, Rebecca B Coaching, BE like the bumblebee, RebeccaBcoaching.com, you can find my healing map that talks about the different layers of healing. You can take a blocks assessment to figure out which of your blocks you have. And you're welcome to reach out to me and get a healing audit. And that will help you understand what are the skills that you could build a little bit more. I give you a personal empowered healing skills assessment. We talk it through, and I give you a plan and clarity, whether it's working with me or continuing the work on your own. As I mentioned before, start a body awareness practice, you can feel free to email me if you'd like a guided meditation. And I think there is one on my website as well. I will just mention one of the entry programs that I have. And if rewiring intrigues you and you'd like to try it just for a month at no risk, my program is called Rewire and Thrive. We meet a couple of times a month and we have a beautiful community, and you can learn how to reparent, retrain your nervous system and rewire these beliefs so that you can thrive. So the safer you feel with the unknown but exciting versions of you, the more you can expand, and you deserve to have access to your greatness. So I hope you take those first steps. Thank you very much.
Wow, you deserve to have access to your own greatness. What a message. You've started sharing, like I was just taking notes, Rebecca. You've started sharing about the blocks of somatic healing, those blocks that we have to greatness. And you've also mentioned on how actually somatic healing, which is body mind, it can help us unlock our greatness. And like you kept on going on and on. I love the way that you've actually created a community, a healthy community that can actually hold each one of your members accountable for their actions. You just guide them step by step. What a message. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. Thank you. So from Atlanta, we are going to Kansas City, where we have Debbie Woods. Debbie Woods is a narcissism survival coach. As a survivor of narcissist abuse, oh my goodness, it's Friday. As a survivor of narcissist abuse herself, Debbie created the Narcissist Survival Institute to help women engage in healthy relationships again after leaving a narcissist. After healing from both physical and emotional abuse from her narcissistic exes, she was able to finish 2 undergraduate degrees, and she's currently a doctoral candidate in natural medicine, as well as she is happily engaged in a healthy and flourishing relationship again. So using her skills as a certified Usui Reiki master and a board certified holistic health practitioner, Debbie guides women in the use of mind, body, soul healing techniques to trust their intuition again and heal from their past of narcissistic abuse. And Debbie knows, she knows that there is no better feeling than confidently knowing you are making great decisions for yourself, but finding the confidence to date again and trust your intuition after leaving a narcissistic ex is no joke. So when Debbie is not helping her clients heal from narcissistic abuse, she is square in her refreshed time, enjoying painting, music, gardening, writing poetry, or spending time with her children. And here is a fun fact about Debbie. The fun fact about Debbie is that she was the lead singer in a classic rock and country band and even recorded in Nashville. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Debbie Woods.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. I so appreciate the information that both Christy and Rebecca had shared. You know, all of these things are absolutely important tools for any of us if we're on a healing journey. They're, you know, you're talking about going within, you're talking about releasing yourself from all these burdens and the somatic trauma. The Body Keeps a Score is a book that I think many of us are familiar with. And if you're not, goodness, you make yourself familiar with that book. Wonderful tool to healing. So, but I want to talk about how we find the courage to leave that narcissist and have belief in ourselves and hope that there is the ability to have a healthy relationship after we leave that narcissistic relationship. And really the first thing that comes to us as after we've left that situation is we're out there, we've gotten out of it, We've done some of the healing work that Christy and Rebecca have talked about. And then you start into the dating world, you're putting your toe in the water, like I said earlier, and the next thing you say to yourself is, oh my God, am I dealing with another one? Am I dealing with another narcissist? Oh my God, what is going on here? And the thing that I think is important to start making yourself aware of is the concept of there are legitimately a lot of bad people out there, a lot of people who are carrying a lot of toxic garbage, a lot of baggage from the past. And there are clinical criteria. There are 10, in fact, clinical criteria that individuals who are legitimate narcissists need to carry a minimum of 5 of these for at least 6 months before they're legitimately narcissists. And so we have to be very careful with this because we're running around a lot of times, meeting people who are not good. They've got toxic characteristics. They haven't done any self-work, and they're creating a lot of damage to us and to other people. And, there's grandiose behavior, there's power trips, there's look at me, there's entitlement and exploitive behavior and lack of empathy and all of these things going on. They're envious of you. They want you to envy them. There's, you name it. And we see it through the social media. We see it even in ourselves sometimes. And we're all, sometimes you might even ask yourself, gosh, am I a narcissist? And of course, the bottom line is if you're asking yourself that question, you're probably not the narcissist. But we get into this whole milieu of problems and the bottom line, if you really start digging into it, is most narcissists are really not aware that they're doing this behavior, and they're coming at you. You're so empathetic. Most of us who have been in these relationships with narcissists, we have the biggest hearts. We have the greatest love for humanity. We just want to help. We just want to help you. And before you know it, you're so deep in the weeds, and your huge heart is sitting there with daggers and swords and in your back and in your heart and from right and left, and you don't know what happened, and you're like, oh, what happened here? I thought this was a good situation. And so you really have to become very, very agile and very, very aware of what's going on. And after the trauma of it, you're so hyper vigilant. You're so incredibly hyper vigilant that you oftentimes can misdiagnose someone who's in a bad situation, or they've had a bad day, or they're just dealing with some difficult things, for yet another narcissist, and find yourself, my apologies, if you're picking up my dog, you find yourself in a bad situation and cutting off people and find yourself isolated. And so the next thing that you have to do is get out of this second guessing mode. You have to find yourself in that ability to develop that self-confidence, which really comes back to what Christy talked about, that self-confidence, that ability to develop that self-confidence, trusting in yourself again, learning how to say, okay, how do I navigate this? How do I look at this a little bit carefully? I see it's as opposed to a red flag. Let me let it be a cautionary flag. Let me let it be watchful, and see, is this really what's going on here? Or is this me throwing a red flag when I should throw a yellow flag? Should I ask more questions? Should I get more information? And not constantly second guess myself. The other part is, as Rebecca talked about, really learning to trust your body, because the body knows. If you're really in touch with your intuition, your intuition will tell you. your soul guides, if you're in touch with that sort of thing, your connection with source God, you will know instantaneously, this is bad juju, get away from it. Do not touch, do not go stop, full stop, put reverse, go away, move away right now. But there are other times when your information will come in and say, you just need to ask more questions. You need to get more information. There may be a miscommunication. Your navigation system is on high alert. And so what you think you're seeing may not be really what you're seeing. And so you ask more questions and you get more information. And so you can stop the second guessing. You can stop the presumptions. You can stop adding fuel to a fire that really isn't there, mountains out of molehills, as we say, right? And so the other part of that then is this idea that comes into play where we, as people who have come out of these abusive relationships, whether they've gotten into the physicality of it, or whether for a lot of us who've been in narcissistic relationships, they've been more covert in nature. It's been more mind games and head games and the covert narcissist. And you get into this place where you suddenly feel lost in the relationship and your identity is gone. Who am I? I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who I am without this person telling me who I am. And this sense of self-worth, because that individual is no longer there giving you your identity. I'm not a wife anymore. I'm not, I'm not a daughter anymore. Who am I? How do I come into a sense of being, where is my value? Because you're no longer telling me who I am. We need to ground ourselves again. We need to find the confidence to stand in a space of a surety and knowledge that we have value. We have the ability to make decisions for ourselves. We have the ability to count. We have the ability to be appreciated, and our opinions matter. When we see something that doesn't look right and we address it, we're not crazy. We're not, seeing things. We're not making things up. These concerns deserve to be addressed. And so all of these things come together and add up to learning to have the confidence to say, what is allowed in my space and what is not allowed in my space? And how do I gain that confidence and step into my self-empowerment and feel great about me again? And that then exudes out, and other people feel great about you, and they feel great about being in your space. Then the downside to that can be then you become shinier and prettier, and you attract more narcissists. And so you have to then be a little bit more discerning as well, and know when to cut someone out of your life and that sort of thing. And so it becomes very important to understand how to quickly identify a narcissist, because you're not going to not attract them. You will attract them, and you will attract them more and more and more. And so you have to be able to identify them quickly. And so in wrapping it up, what I would share with everyone in your audience is I have a free gift for your audience: how to identify a narcissist quickly. It gives you information and tips about not only how you can get up moving on from that, but also how you identify them, how you extricate yourself from the situation quickly without feeling guilty, without feeling sense of, oh, maybe I made a bad mistake, maybe they were a good person. Get out quickly, move on, feel confident, feel empowered, and don't look back and feel the least bit of guilt, because you are moving into a whole different space, and you don't need to be dragging yesterday along with you. And so anybody who's interested can simply go to narcsurvivalgift.com. That's NARC survivalgift.com. And then they'll be able to get this guide, and that'll lead them into ways to connect with me for further connection if they would like to do that. So I think that's all I have to share with you at the moment, but I do appreciate all the information from the other ladies. I think it all kind of meshes together just wonderfully. And I appreciate everything. So thank you.
Oh, wow, Debbie, what an honor. As you were speaking, I keep on reading your background. I love your background. They whispered to her, you cannot withstand the storm. But what did she say? She whispered back, I am the storm. Yes, I am the storm. What a profound message. You've shared, I will say everything around narcissism. You've shared you first defined what is a narcissist to begin with. And then just finding yourself again, trusting yourself again after throughout all that experience, living in that narcissistic abuse. How can you identify yourself, trust yourself, love yourself, know your value, and begin to draw lines where they are needed? Because you know you are worthy, the self-worth. Honestly, I'm just gonna go back and watch the replay over and over again, because all of you have dropped the nuggets. You've dropped the nuggets that, you know what? It doesn't matter whatsoever situation I'm going through. I am destined for greatness. It doesn't matter whatsoever experiences I've gone through. But you know what? I am destined for greatness. So I should just keep my head high and just focus on that greatness. What a profound message. Thank you. Thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing such a profound, much needed message around narcissism, really, because we live with them. We don't know them. We don't know them. But now we're able to pinpoint from your actions that no, this is not so right. So thank you. Thank you so much, Debbie, for that message. And let me check on our live now, what we have. And I can really see our audience. They've been really, really inspired. I can see Mariah Cox watching with us. She's saying authenticity. And I can see Benoit, he's giving us all the blue hearts, all the love, all the fire. And I can see Tiara, she's on fire, this one. She's on fire. She's saying, yes, Rebecca, we need to unlearn those things that no longer align with our destiny. Oh, that's so good. And I can see Princess Sebe, she's saying, I love the blogs. I love the blogs. I can see Jarvis Bestman is saying that thinking positive about yourself. I can also see Anna Lee with those pink hearts, with the love that we get from our audience. I believe that our audience have been inspired, they've been motivated. So to our audience online, if you happen to have any questions to any of the speakers here, if you happen to have any questions for Christy, for Rebecca, for Debbie, please feel free to drop your questions on the chat box. We're going to be able to attend to your questions at the end of the podcast. So please do so. So it's not going to be a show, without me showing up and show off. So I'm going to be the next and final speaker. But before I speak, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my bio with you, and then I will come back and speak. So please do enjoy. I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. Really, my goal as a mentor or as a coach is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to pursue success and drive sustainable. I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Dr. Riel and Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights.
Dr. Nampumelelo Rial Kunene is an international human rights policy analyst who consults on policies and procedures related to human rights compliance. She is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Lace Brown International speaker. This passionate leader holds a PhD with a discipline in leadership and business. Dr. Rial N. Kunene is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. She is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes. In a seriously funny way, Dr. Kunene is an award-winning author, 10 times #1 Amazon and international best-selling author. Her #1 best-selling book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. As a trainer, diplomacy protocol officer, and strategist, Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. She is also a true advocate for creating new policies that uphold human rights and prevent human rights violations. Dr. Kunene's purpose is to teach everyone about human rights and help organizations understand and promote human rights. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. This change maker, trailblazer, and revolutionary is pushing boundaries and creating a real change worldwide. Like a phoenix that never accepted defeat and rose from its own ashes, she wants to challenge you to unleash your greatness and rise to greater heights. Dr. Rial N. Kunene wears many hats. As a professional certified sales manager, CEO, certified travel counselor, publisher, medical esthetician, philanthropist, and a commissioner for oaths, following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalms 27 and 40 keeps her to rise to greater heights. The sky is no longer the limit, but now the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Dr. Rial N. Kunene.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. What an honor and a privilege, like to follow after, such a powerhouse. Like all these amazing speakers have shared more nuggets on how you're actually destined for greatness and how you can actually stay in that lane of being great, because we are all destined for greatness. Christy, she shared our own authenticity and how this is the key to, unconditional love and acceptance. And then Rebecca, on the other side, she shared on how somatic body-mind healing helps us to unblock our greatness. And Debbie, on the other side, she shared everything on narcissism, and she shared on actually how you can trust yourself again and know your value after experiencing narcissism. So I'm gonna say resilience is your path to greatness. Resilience is your path to greatness from all these amazing experiences, because I've seen that, the approach to adversity, it play out in all walks of life, and realize that resilience is truly the signature of greatness, because every leader, what they are sold, they were once resilient. Why? I'm glad you've asked that, because their stories of struggles, they often become lessons in how to stay strong. So like Oprah Winfrey once said that you have to turn your wounds into wisdom. Turn your wounds into wisdom. So these great leaders, they believe in a cause bigger than themselves, and they were persistent in order to achieve their goals. They define themselves by the impact and difficult challenges, but they were able to overcome them all. Kings and queens, you really don't have to see the whole staircase to get to the top, but you need to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great in life. So get started today, because you are destined for greatness. So, you know, in entrepreneurship is just a journey full of learnings and many bumps along the way. But defining our course is the main aim of life, with a little dose of resilience, because there is something admirable about people who keep going no matter what obstacles that they face in life. They keep going. They have resilience to succeed, which is the fuel that you need in order for you to get through the hard days. So it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call, kings and queens. It's a wake-up call to realize that we are all destined for greatness. It's a wake-up call. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, 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 don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I'll wake up in the next 2 minutes. I'll wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and bounce back to life? Bounce back to life. So I'm gonna share like 5 key ways in order for you to focus, to kind of develop a greater level of resilience. So if you can please write it down. We are forever students here, so you can write it down. Learn from discomfort is the first point. Learn from discomfort. You know, when you're going through tough times, it is easy for all of us to lose our cool at some point in time. But I believe that we need to learn the most from the discomfort and rethink what's required to be successful. So you have to learn from that discomfort. And then point number 2, you'll have to be willing to create resilience. Be willing to create resilience. And you may ask me, how can I do that? How can I do that really? You know, most of our challenges will cause us to grow in some way. So learning, in order for you to do that, you'll have to learn to deal and address adversity, which will create that resilience. It's going to create your resilience. Be willing to create that resilience. And then point number 3, you'll have to stay committed to what matters the most. Stay committed to what matters the most, because our struggles, it can often put things in better perspective, and overcoming such adversity is character building. So stay committed to what matters the most. And then point number 4, you'll have to build external resources. Like Rebecca, she mentioned that you'll have to build that community, join that community that can help you, that can hold you accountable, because adversity, it helps us to find a body. We need people for emotional and mental support. So you'll have to try by all means to build external resources. And then point number 5, I know you're not going to agree with me on this one, but I'm saying don't accept it. Yes, don't accept it. We will never rise to greater heights than the expectations we have for ourselves if we accept that adversity is inevitable. So don't ever accept it. Adversity is not inevitable, really. We can like, if you try to put limits in yourself, then you're not going to find that way. But if you are telling yourself that there is no limits, even the sky is no longer your limit, it's your point of view. So don't accept that adversity is inevitable. So use all these 5 key ways in order for you to focus onto developing a greater level of resiliency. But one thing you'll have to understand is that, you know what, you can't give from an empty cup. You need to fill your cup first, and then you're going to be able to share with the world from the overflow. You can't give from an empty cup. So I encourage you to fill your cup first, and then once it's full, from the overflow, you're going to be able to share with the world. You're going to be able to live to another person as long as your cup is full, because resilience is the very essence of each of our greatness. And it is the learning that comes from it that creates the opportunity for growth. It can bring out your best or your worst, but it's from these places really where we grow the most. From the beginning, from the beginning of time until now, people have been grasping for greatness. So in order for us to go from the bottom of the stairs to the top, we need to take that first step. So to me, honestly, greatness, it comes from depending entirely on God, because my everyday book, it says that the stone that the builders rejected has become the capstone. the stone that the builders has rejected has become the capstone. So according to my own view, God can take the least of men and make them great. But if we try to become great through our own efforts, we will eventually fail, because I believe that greatness in Jesus' eyes is serving the needs of others. This is the true path to greatness, by blessing as many lives out there as much as you can. As flight attendants always say, that you don't have to be, you have to put on your oxygen mask first before you assist the person who's sitting next to you, because if you don't, trust me, when that flight goes down, you will definitely go down, because you failed to put on that oxygen mask first to yourself before you help your children, before you help your neighbors. So it's high time we put that oxygen mask on ourselves, because the reality is, your journey to be a better person, it doesn't start with your children, it doesn't start with your spouse, it doesn't start with your neighbors. The reality to be a better person, your journey to be a better